we both were going to church. We were serving together. I thought we'll get into this later, I'm sure, about providing value. I was bringing in all the income. We have a nice house. Like, I thought everything was working out well. About 2 weeks into November of 2023, I could tell my wife was getting a little bit colder towards me. We had gone to couples therapy in the past, and that was mainly because we were having a tough time like communicating. And so we got these little guidelines to live by. So I walked in one day to the room and just said, hey, like, I want to sit down and talk to you. And that's not normal for me. Normally I'm very headstrong and like, this is kind of how it is. And she didn't receive it and goes, look, I don't think I can give you what you're looking for. Like, I want a divorce. And that hit me like a ton of bricks.
I knew our relationship was in trouble, but I didn't know what to do about it. So I just kept on like, well, maybe if I pick up this extra chore, that'll make her happy. Stupid stuff like that, where it's just like trying to buy or, win affection or something like that without actually addressing what the root of the issue was.
Yeah. So essentially it's like over time you became more and more like roommates.
Now that I threatened divorce, this is how I get you to move. You wouldn't do it for me before, but now that I got to threaten you with this, now you're ready to change.
Pain is like our greatest teacher, first of all. Without that pain, I wouldn't have pushed through. If I was like, if I was indifferent and been like, you know what? Yeah, this marriage sucked and like I want out, I wouldn't have pushed through all the pain. But I mean, I had sleepless nights. I couldn't eat. Like, it affected me physiologically too. It wasn't just mentally and emotionally. So
you're a bad person. I don't want you in my life. Only contact me when it has to do with kids. And when she had told me that she had created like an online dating account, stuff like that, and, wasn't looking for a relationship, was just, going out and having, drinks with people and stuff like that. But back at that time, I'd been in the program for a couple months at that point. I still was not very secure with, my new mindset and my new approach. So there was a lot of hard conversations that I wasn't really prepared to have. I'd kind of dance around on the surface on them, but I wouldn't really get deep into them.
Yeah.
So I kind of just, I poked around at what she meant by it and what her intentions were, but I didn't really get too deep with it until it came out. I don't know, May or June, when she, said that she'd been dating this guy and, he's this, great guy. It was a great match for her. He's outgoing, attractive, all these things going on for him. And, basically she was loving life.
In the beginning, I had absolutely no idea how what you were teaching was going to help me. I had no clue. Like, the first couple modules in the phase, I was like, what does this have to do with my marriage at all? What kept me going was like knowing if I follow this, so far everything sounds like I don't get it, but there's been a lot of things in my life that I don't get until you get further along, and then you can finally see, oh, that's what everything was for. So it was more of just long suffering. Like, I don't know why the coaches are asking me to do this stuff, but I'm just going to do it and, hope for the best, because I really had no clue in the beginning what it had to do with my marriage.
When you have a mindset of a perfect process, you will just say, hey, look, part of my changes here is that now I want for people to tell me how much I've effed up.
She always told me that I was making her feel like one of her clients. And so I really had to pick and choose when to start a campaign with her.
You have to know exactly who you are, who you want to become, and never stop growing. Because I was a big procrastinator. So even though I thought I was growing, the business is growing, I wasn't growing as a husband. I wasn't growing as a man who can be in touch with his emotions. And so all those things to my wife was like, well, look, I'm growing exponentially and you're just staying the same. Those old mindsets will not take us to where we need to go. I didn't see those chances. In hindsight, I see them. But yeah, it takes a lot for that mindset to form.
I'm still me. I'm still an idiot. Like, I'm still going to be making mistakes. And I'm not sitting here and telling you that, like, look, I'm changed. I'm this perfect person, because I'm not. I'm going to annoy you. I'm going to do, say wrong things from time to time. The difference is I want you to tell me when those happen. I want to hear about them. I want to talk about them, and then I want to solve them together with you.
The hardest part I think about mindset is, getting people to realize that, hey, look at the paradox you're creating here. Look at the confirmation bias you have. And getting people to see through and take off the lens, the dirt, clay, whatever they're seeing the world through, and really let them see, like, here's what it is in reality.
We just went on our first vacation again together as a couple to Mexico. Had a great week. Got to a place where we were like starting to engage a lot more on the physical sense, but also emotionally. We haven't had an argument, a fight. It's been like, we literally look at each other kind of like, wow, this is like two different people. And I told her, I just want to explore the new you, and I want you to explore the new me.
Our last fight that we had was the day we reconciled. And that was, I don't even want to call it a fight. It was more like an emotional, just, let's do this. We got, we let everything off on the table. Just shedding our old selves. I mean, that's the best way to put it. And yeah, it was intense and it was a little angry, but it was with the sole purpose of like, okay, let's dump all this right here and let's start anew.
She didn't tell me anything. She didn't tell me what she was doing with her friends. She didn't tell me what was going on with her day, because it had gotten to the point where she no longer felt safe sharing anything with me. And so now to the point where she is feeling safe, like that is to be cherished. She's still actually trying to save this relationship, because she could at that point have just completely cut off conversation whatsoever, filed for a divorce, never told me a single thing. I could have just gotten the divorce in the mail, the paperwork in the mail, and it could have been over. But she was still communicating some of that stuff with me. So I knew she was still trying to work and save the relationship.
When she opened that up to me and I was able to receive it and not make her feel judged, it really opened her. She was like, wow, now I feel safe being able to, because you're not judging me. You're not telling me that I'm bad or some horrible person. You're just listening and trying to understand how I feel. And that's what the paraphrase is all about.
As long as you have safety, you have the right ingredients, you understand how to drive the ship in a way. There's no freaking way this can end badly, right? It just goes deeper and deeper and deeper every single time. And conflicts, in fact, become opportunities, not threats.
But to me, it's like the veil has been taken off my eyes, and I'm able to see and hear in new ways. And I get giddy and excited in that new self, like, that comes out. I mean, I hope she digs it, because it's giving us a cool new path, right? Where our communication style is completely different than before. It was scary a little bit in the beginning because I don't like my feelings. I didn't like how they felt. I didn't like having to acknowledge them. And once your brain shifts, everything else follows. And then you can be confident in who you are.
Guys, those people you just saw, they weren't special. They were hurting, confused, ready to quit, just like you may be right now. But they didn't give up, neither should you. And the first step, our free masterclass. This is where I'll show you the actual process that I've shown thousands of my clients to take them from very dire situations to where they are today, when mainstream advice and a lot of other coaches often have left them for dead. So guys, I've made it my life's mission for the last 10 years to cut through so much of this bullshit, because I was one of those guys who believed that same bullshit. So if you're ready to stop screwing around in the kiddie pool and bullshit advice, click the link, watch the masterclass. At the end of the masterclass, if you want to apply for the program, I'll give you the instructions to do so. And I'm so excited to see more of you join my mission to cut through the BS and make marriages great again.